Growing up, my summers were spent at my family's cabin by the lake. There weren't a lot of other kids around, so my favorite pastime was turtle catching. There was one spot on the lake where I knew that the turtles loved to line up in the sun on a fallen log, and I became so good at catching them that I could fill the whole paddle boat up to go home and show my mom. And at the end of the day, we would release the turtles at the end of our dock. Every day I did this, and every day the log was once again full of turtles. This got me thinking, if I release the turtles off the end of our dock, how do they know how to find their way home? Now, my research focuses on the cognitive abilities of aquatic turtles. Specifically, what cues do they use to find their way from one place to another? Until recently, turtles were thought to be unintelligent compared to other animals because they performed poorly in past cognitive studies. The problem with those studies is that they were performed under conditions that might be ideal for a mouse or a cat, but not conducive to reptiles. In some recent studies, tortoises have shown the ability to strategize and to learn simple tasks by watching other tortoises. This is fairly advanced thinking that was once thought impossible by reptiles. In my research, I've taken aspects of these tortoise studies and applied them to aquatic turtles. My first two trials used mazes. The problem with the maze system was that the turtles were more interested in exploring their new environment than with finding the food at the end of a maze. This problem forced me to reevaluate, and I realized that if I wanted to study a turtle, I needed to think like a turtle. So, for my current trials, I'm using a grid system set up on the bottom of each turtle's tank, and I feed them in the same location on the grid every time. Now, once they've learned where to find their food, I will begin changing the cues within their environment, such as rocks and plants, and I'll determine whether or not this affects their ability to find their food. So far, this system has been much more successful because the trials are taking place in the turtle's normal environment. Although I'm using snapping turtles for my study, the goal is that this research can be applied to the conservation of endangered species, such as the critically endangered Blandings turtle that lives right here in Nebraska. Knowing how turtles learn and think is important to help conservationists design conservation corridors that connect fragmented habitat and know what these animals need to navigate this new space. It's also very important to me so that someday when my children fill the paddle boat up with turtles and want to know how they'll find their way home, this time I'll have the answer. Thank you.